man, you know what I need? I need some advice. I just can't figure out how to be the best advocate and supporter for diversity and inclusion. I have a hard time wrapping my head around valuing people using arbitrary characteristics on the basis that I'm promoting fairness, rather than just plain old discrimination. I wonder where I could get some top tips on how to improve myself.
So in terms of top tips, I think everybody's got to start somewhere, and I think it's really important whether you're looking at this as an organisation or whether you're looking at this as an individual.
Well, I'm an individual. At least, I think I am. Although, I am white.
The diversity and inclusion agenda is really unique to every individual. You go on your own personal journey with it because that's completely influenced by your perspective, your experience, your beliefs. Everything that makes you you puts you at whatever position you are in your D&I journey, be that right at the beginning and I'm just learning, or actually I know a little bit more and I'm going to influence and take people on their journey too.
So there is no single method because everyone is different. There is no comprehensive definition of a diversity and inclusion journey, but you're going to give us your tips for everyone. Got it.
In terms of top tips then, I think it's important to be curious but be respectful.
Top tip number 1. Be curious but be respectful. Okay.
So there's lots of areas. There's new emerging areas in diversity and inclusion, and
I think I may have just found my thumbnail.
Nobody expects everybody to be an expert on all of those topics. So you can ask questions and do ask questions, but if you do that in a respectful way, then usually that's got a really positive outcome, and that's how you broaden your knowledge and how you can shape your understanding of where you are in your journey.
Okay, ask questions of who? And ask questions about what? Be curious but respectful just sounds like basic manners. But then, I still have no idea exactly what we're talking about.
The diversity and inclusion agenda is really unique to every individual. I think another top tip that I'd love to share with everybody is just to seek out difference.
Top tip number 2. Seek out difference. Okay.
So it's really easy for us as humans to look for safety in things that are the same, and that might be physical attributes or styles and preferences, whatever it may be. But actually, if you encounter somebody who who is different to you, so be that age, race, social background, even just their preferred style in the office. So if you're in a meeting and somebody handles a situation and you think, do you know what, I'd have never thought to approach it like that, that's difference right there. And engaging with people off the back of those scenarios is usually a really good way to broaden your perspective too.
But everyone is different from you. Everyone comes from a different background, or comes at problems in different ways, or has different ideas. Difference is anyone who is not you. So, okay, I find someone who is different from me, which is easy enough. What am I then to do with this different person?
Listen, I think, is another top tip.
Top tip number 3. Listen. Okay.
So, like I said, I made the point earlier around D&I being a lot around self-reflection too, which can often be quite difficult, but listen. So there's going to be conflict. You've got beliefs, perspectives, experience, and not everything is going to work in harmony all the time, and that's okay.
That's okay? But How do I know that a conflict in personalities or beliefs isn't actually the result of a microaggression fueled by my unconscious bias that is making the other person feel disrespected and devalued? I mean, isn't the goal here complete peace and harmony with everyone who gets along forever in the workplace? Because anything less is not inclusive.
But listening to other people's opinions and experience and just taking that away and then reflecting on it yourself to see whether actually does that change your view on a certain thing, or does it enhance it, or actually you have the same opinion that you were before. Everybody's got that right, but really active listening, which I think most people to do that and do that well, it's quite a skill to learn.
Mm-hmm.
So it's good to listen to other people's opinions, even if I'm ultimately going to ignore what they have to say, because, I don't know, maybe not everyone always has something valuable to add. But if my mind doesn't change on the basis of what they had to say, and I proceed as I meant to in the first place, doesn't that just mean I am disregarding diverse voices, and thus merely perpetuating a closed and oppressive work environment? Don't I have to change my mind on the basis of what they say in order to prove that I value diversity?
Another couple of top tips then is be an ally.
Top tip number 4. Be an ally. Okay.
So you don't have to be part of a particular community to be an advocate for them or to understand the challenges that they're faced with, or the obstacles that they've overcome.
Operate on the basis of stereotypes when it comes to certain demographics in the workplace. Assume to know that everyone in a particular demographic have all suffered and are victims in the same way. Got it.
So be an ally, so understand that perspective and be an advocate for that community. That's a really, really good one that would make a whole difference to the world we live in.
Envision yourself as a savior towards people who are obviously disadvantaged based on what they are. Got it.
And then finally, just something to remember is it's hard work.
Top tip number 5. It's hard work. Is that a tip? Okay.
It's really hard work is everything in a D&I space, because as I've said countless times already today, you are thinking and trying to influence people's perceptions, people's beliefs. And they're from their experience that's unique to them.
Wait a second. I'm trying to influence people's perceptions and beliefs? Because other people's perceptions and beliefs are inherently inadequate? That doesn't sound like inclusion.
So if this work was easy, I wouldn't be in a job anymore and it would have been done. But we've come so far, but there's still a long, long way to go.
Yeah, it's almost as if, so long as you make the concept of diversity and inclusion as opaque, mysterious, and convoluted as possible, you'll always be able to draw a paycheck. Oh, but hey, that's just me being cynical.
So celebrate the quick wins and celebrate those little instances where, do you know what, you have made a positive difference because you've increased your understanding, or you've acted as an ally and spoken out in support of a community. Celebrate those little victories, because all of those team together make a massive difference.
Be curious, but be respectful while you seek out difference, and listen to be a better ally, all the while understanding that this is very hard work. A litany of advice that means absolutely nothing. But, as our speaker said, if the world of diversity and inclusion was easy to navigate, she would be out of a job. So, what incentive does she have to actually solve any problems? Or to attempt any firm definitions of whatever it is she's talking about? Zero. Because as long as she is the keeper of the secret knowledge, the ignorant masses will forever be clamoring for her to provide that most elusive of wisdoms. For a price, of course.
Of course!
Well, ask and ye shall receive. I wanted some advice on how to be a better supporter of, and advocate for, diversity and inclusion. And these top tips are just the tip of the iceberg, while society at large is the Titanic. As always, thank you for watching.